We'll take just a couple of breaths here, a few breaths, not just a couple. Let's do a few. And in Pilates, we breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. So if you would like to practice that breath here, feel free to do that. In fact, that could be a forceful clearing breath if you'd like, an inhale and a sigh out through the mouth, or it can be easy. You choose, but just allow that breath to flow deep into the belly and around. So down and around. We'll do a few more here. All right, stretch yourself out nice and long. So our focus today is going to be a little more for the legs. But of course, we'll get some abdominals, some back strengthening. We'll do all the things and then we'll stretch. All right, so let's bring the soles of the feet to the mat. About mat or hip bone width apart, excuse me. Arms are alongside you, palms down. We'll just do a little bit to warm up to the spine. So let the lower back imprint to the mat. Peel one vertebra up off the mat, bridging up to the shoulders. Once you bridge up, we bridge right back down. So again, the slow articulation of the spine. We'll do a few more, but you move at your pace. Now, the next time you find yourself up in a bridge pose, let's pause right there, pushing fully through both feet to start. Just feel that connection of all parts of your foot to the mat. And now let's change this up. Let's bring the weight into the heels. And you might want to walk your feet just a teeny bit away from you and then bring the weight into the heels. Notice what happens as you do that. Maybe you feel a little more firing through the glutes or the hamstrings, maybe the quads here. And then let's switch. So let's bring the weight into the balls of the feet. Again, notice which muscles are you feeling most? And then let the soles of the feet fully contact the mat and walk your feet away from each other a little bit. Once again, here we pause and just notice. Breathe those 360 breaths. Take one more here. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And then we slowly articulate down, one vertebra at a time. Good. And then if you'd like to draw the knees into the chest for a second, feel free to do that. All right, from here, we are going to grab our blocks. Grab your yoga block, send it up into the air, and let your hands push into the block so you feel some energy through the upper body here. Your knees are stacked up over your hips, and we'll imprint the lower back to the mat. So it's just a slight engagement there. Now you're alternating toe taps to the mat. So right toes down, left toes down. You choose your pace here. This is about control. So it does not matter how fast you go. Control the movement down, control the movement up. Also notice here, so we're not bending anymore through the knee. We're actually hinging from the hip. That's what lowers the leg down. So keep that same angle on the leg, tapping the toes a couple more times, alternating. And then once you've done those last two, release your block to the mat. And again, you could hug your knees in if that feels good. We're going to go right on to the next thing, but this time we actually have to shimmy ourselves down to the end of the mat. So come on up and come down to the end of the mat, and you'll use those 2 paper plates that I gave you for your heels. So your heels are going to be on the plates, the arms are alongside you. So I'm sure you can tell we're going to go back up into a bridge pose, but this time we're going to actually work those hamstrings just a little bit more. So once you are up in bridge, you'll send your right leg out in front and you'll pull the right foot back in. Again, right foot out, right foot comes back in. Try to keep your hips level as you push the heel out and back in. Good. Again, out and in. Great job. Let's do 2 more. Out and pull back in. And last one on this right side. Pull back in. Make sure those hips are level. Stay up in your bridge as you send the left foot out and in. We have 6 of them. Out and pull back in. Good. 4 more. And in. Here's 3. Pull in. 2 more. And in. And last one. Pull in. Ooh, gosh, I lost my plate. Okay. All right, so both legs are in here. Again, just take a few seconds. If it feels good to straighten your legs out, this is my 3rd day in a row of doing those. So my hamstrings are feeling quite loved. All right, if you want to stretch out here, feel free to do that. Okay, so we're gonna actually do that again, but we'll have the block between our legs now this time. So you're going to hug onto the block with the legs. Make sure that's on the meaty part of the thigh so it's not digging into your knee joint at all. All right, so send the hips back up in the air, squeeze onto that block. You're welcome to stay right here. If you'd like to challenge yourself, you're sending both feet out, pulling both heels back in. Just 6 of them. Out and pull back in. Good. 4 more and pull. Here's 3 and pull. Beautiful job. Last 2 and pull, and last one and pull back. Great job. Release the block, release the bottom to the floor. Again, here, it might be that you send the legs up and you pull the legs in, stretching through the back of the legs here. All right, let's rock and roll ourselves up. All right, so Taylor, this is where you may want to just find, we're going to end up doing a bird dog together, but you might want to do a little bird. Let me show you what we're going to do. So we're going to actually hinge back a little bit. We're going to put those lower vertebrae on the mat, and then we send one leg out, the other leg out. Yeah, okay. All right, so right here, we're going to send those lower vertebrae to the mat. So you've got this little C curve through the lower vertebrae, and then we'll send one foot out and the other foot out. You are alternating. We're going to do just a few of these so that we can meet back up and work together. Good, so you alternate right, alternate left. Good, do a couple more here. Good, great job. All right, you can release that, and let's all meet up in a child's pose. So we're moving kind of quickly through all of this so that we can get some stretching in, and also we only have 30 minutes of this. So let's meet in a tabletop position, lining up your hands underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips, taking some time here to really feel that balance between hands and knees and find that strength through the abdominals, pausing right here. All right, we are going to find a cat pose. So we're rounding up into cat, and we'll pause right here and feel the strength of the abdominals. The stretch through the back is an added bonus. And then let's release back to tabletop. All right, so now you can stay and do that same thing. If you'd like a little bit more, place that block between your thighs. And when you round yourself up, you are hugging onto the block as well. So just a little bit extra here. Pause one more breath, letting the breath move through the nose, out through the mouth. And then we release back to that tabletop position. All right, one more level. Again, you can choose to stop wherever you'd like. If you'd like to add a little bit more, curl your toes under, let your knees hover, hug onto the block, and let's once again find our cat round. Good. You're breathing through the back side of the body. Abdominals are strong. We breathe one more breath here. Beautiful. We meet in child's pose. You can release that block. Good. And then find whatever feels good here in your child's pose. So if it feels good to do a little rocking from side to side, feel free to do that. All right. We're going to meet in a plank or a modified plank. You choose. From your plank pose or modified plank, let's all curl the toes under and we'll pike the hips up. So think down dog. And since it's just us, let's actually do a little bit here to stretch through the back of the legs. So feel free to pedal out the feet if you'd like. All right, now you'll walk your hands back to your feet. We'll roll up one vertebra at a time. Once you are all the way up, do a big stretch up to the ceiling. All right, so it's a C-shaped dive to the mat. So you've got that abdominal strength like we practiced when we did our cat pose, that same thing here. You'll walk yourself out to your plank pose. You are welcome to stay. You could drop your knees here. You could also do 4 tricep push-ups, your choice. Beautiful job. Let's pike the hips up. Walk your hands back to your feet. Roll yourself up. Good. Let's send those arms all the way up into the air. Dive yourself forward, big C shape. Walk yourself out to your plank pose. All right, you have those same options, plank, modified plank, 4 more tricep push-ups, up to you. We pike the hips up. Good. We walk our hands back to our feet. Good. And then we'll roll ourselves up. All right. So we are going to do a little bit more with that, but this time we're going to use those plates. So let's just, we'll wrap this plate stuff up with this. So come on to the other end of your mat, or whatever ends. You could be at the back end there, but you will need your plates. And we'll start off with knees to the mat at the end of the mat. You're going to find those plates behind you, and then you'll send the legs back for your plank pose. Now, you can stay in modified plank too. If you did find that plank pose, here's what's going to happen. That right leg is going to go out to the side and come back in. The left leg will go out to the side and come back in. Right leg out and in. Left leg out and in. We have 4 more. Right and in. Here's left and in. Great job. 2 and last one. Beautiful. Drop your knees back to the mat. Come off your arms, finding whatever feels good here. All right, one last thing we'll do with those plates. Come back up. Let those toes return to the plates, dropping the knees to modify your plank instead. If you do have the legs extended in a full plank, we're bringing the right knee in toward the chest and back. Really slow mountain climber. In and out. Right leg in and out. Left leg in and out. Just 4 more. That's what's nice about Pilates. Usually we have a really small count of what we're doing. So we're not doing many. All right. I think we've wrapped those up. Drop your knees back down to the mat. Oh, great job. Whew. Let's shake out whatever needs to be shooken out. All right, we are going to roll onto one side. Does not matter which side you start with, y'all. And I know that maybe you can't really, so you can see me. All right, you're going to grab that block and place it to the back side of the top leg. You can lay yourself all the way down here. You could cradle your head with your elbow if that feels good by bending at the elbow. All right, so here's how the legs are stacked. They are stacked one on top of the other. The hips are stacked. If you were to draw a line from your top heel, it would intersect with your bottom. All right. I think those blocks work so much better. Usually it's a Pilates ball, so we're gonna just use this. All right, so we're gonna lift and lower that top leg. Lift and lower, lift and lower. Find the beat here. 2 more, up and down. Now, we're gonna bring the leg back a little bit and forward a little bit. So back and forward. Good. I was hoping to use the beat of the music, but it's going a little too fast. Let's slow this down. Let's go back 4, 3, 2, and 1. Forward 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back 4, 3, 2, and 1. One more forward. Now we'll take it back. 4, 3, 2. Hold it back there. So when you look down, you have this straight line from your hip down to your knees. Your knees are no longer stacked, but your hips still are. From here, we're going to lift and lower that leg back. Good. Do one more. Good. Lift and hold. Now, squeezing onto that block. I know it doesn't feel very good, but hold on with me. Just a little teeny squeeze. Doesn't have to be big. 4, 3, 2, and last one. Remove that block. Let that top leg go straight. Your hips are still stacked. You're pointing your top toes. And it's like you have a paintbrush at the top, the big toe. You're going to do teeny tiny circles. 8 times in each direction. Let's switch directions. Here's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Great job. We release that side. We have a side plank on this side, so you'll bring your elbow underneath your shoulders. Your knees can stay stacked or your legs can go straight out. You're sending the hips up into the air. That top arm comes up. 4 times we reach toward the back of the room and come back up. Again, reach and arm up. 2 more like that. Reach and up. Here's last one. Reach and up. Hold up. Maybe push those hips up a teeny bit higher. Drop them just a little bit. Push up just a little bit and down. Last 2 of those. Yeah, beautiful. Last one. Great job. Release your hips down. Now you're going to come up onto your side or to the side. As you come up, stagger your legs. So one leg is in front of the other, but you've got these 45-ish degree angles. That outside ankle is where you'll grab, and then you send that opposite arm up and over. This is called a mermaid stretch. Yeah. Good. We come up and we'll go to the other side. So we start off here with that block to the back of the leg, squeezing onto that if you can. And here, again, your knees are stacked, your hips are stacked, your heel and your bottom are aligned. I know, I know, lift and lower, lift and lower. Top leg is lifting as one. So if you find that your knee is leading or your heel is leading, try to keep everything aligned. Good. Now let's pulse up right here. Small lift, lift, lift. All right, so 4 counts back, 4 counts in. So we go 4, 2, let's try that again. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back 4, 3, 2, and 1. Forward 4, 3, 2. Let's do one more like that. Go back and forward. Now we go back again, and this time we hold back. So when you look down, you should see a straight line from your hip to your knee. Now from here, we lift and lower. Lift, lift, lift. Good. Just 4 more like that. 4, 3, 2. Good. Squeeze that block and hold. Squeeze, release. Squeeze, hold the leg back. Squeeze, squeeze. 4 more. 4, 3, 2, and last one. Release the block. Send that top leg long. Point your toes. Keep your hips stacked. These are 8 tiny circles in each direction. 4, 3, 2. Let's switch sides or switch directions for 8. 4, 3, 2, and last one. Great job. All right. Let's do that side plank on this side, and then we have wrapped up our Pilates. So from here, again, knees stacked, legs long, you choose. Top arm is up. We reach toward the back of the room and up to the ceiling 4 times. Reach up to the ceiling. Good. Last 2. And up. And last one. And up. Press the hips up just a teeny bit higher. Drop them down just a teeny bit. Just 2, 3 more of those. Up and down. Last 2 and down. And last 1 and down. Beautiful job. All right, come on up. Again, as you come up, you're going to stagger your legs. So one in front of the other. You'll reach for that outside ankle. We come up and over for a mermaid stretch. All right. If you'd like to stretch against the wall, legs up the wall, I don't think you can do that. So, Mike, if you want to do that, we're going to actually do the legs up the wall to stretch. You and I are going to do something different. All right, so right here, we'll start with hamstrings. So once your legs are straight, you can just fold yourself out. Good, and then come on up. All right, so now we'll do a figure 4. So the left leg will stay long. That right ankle comes above the left knee, and then you can choose just to slide that foot in